Hi, and welcome to this ThriftU Homeschool Edition project. My name is Josie Brockman. I'm a librarian at the Longmont Public Library, and I run the ThriftU program. The ThriftU program is a crafting program that we use merchandise from thrift stores, things you can find easily there, and turn them into objects of practical use. We have a lot of fun doing this, and there's a little bit of a challenge this time because we can't get out to thrift stores, so I had to think of something that many of us would likely have in our homes. And so I chose tin cans. I imagine many of us have pantries full of tin cans because at the grocery store there are no tin can products. Beans, frozen vegetables, anything, they're all gone. So they're in your homes. So after you use them, I've come up with 4 projects that you can do, and these are good for pretty much all ages. And let's see, I'll introduce them. One of them is a tin can with yarn. This is very easy. And we'll go into a little bit about how I made this. Again, it's very easy. Another one is a painted tin can that you can hang outside, and you put seeds in there, the birds, or nuts for the squirrel, whatever you want to attract. Another one, which is one of my favorites, he's really cute. This is Bert the Bee, because I'm very original. So he can hang out in your yard by a tree or on your umbrella and be really awfully cute. And then the last one is a great stress reliever. It's a can that you take a hammer to, and that's lots of fun, and it gets rid of stress. So we'll look at that one too. Okay, so some other things you'll probably need to have: acrylic paint. Hopefully you might have some of that. Spray paint works really well. And rubber cement or a hot glue gun, or just your regular Elmer's glue. You're probably going to need bottle caps. Those are helpful. Yarn. If you have a stash of yarn, that'll be good. Sandpaper. Clothespins. And a hammer. So, the first one we'll do is the tin can. So what you need for this is, the yarn can. You'd need a tin can, as I said. I used rubber cement for this. It worked really well. You can use like a tacky glue. You can use a hot glue gun. Either of those work. And then some yarn. I used, quite a thick yarn because I really liked all the colors on it. You can use a thinner yarn and different colors. That would work. You could use twine, shoelace. I am going to use this one for this. It's pretty thick. It's kind of like a rope. And what you want to make sure you do at first is have a nice end here. You don't want it all scraggly. And then basically you take your rubber cement, your liquid snot, and I start here at the bottom, go all the way around. You don't want to do the whole thing at once because you don't want it to dry on you. But you can do probably a good inch. And then start twining it around. So like I said, this is pretty easy to do. You want to make sure you don't have any gaps between your yarn. And continue around. So yeah, let's work on that. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so there I am. I'm done. And you want to make sure that you really get a nice glue stick on the end in the beginning of your twist. And that's basically it. Very easy. And like I said, you can use hot glue, but I tend to hurt myself quite a bit with hot glue. So the rubber cement works really, really well. Anyway, project number 1, very easy. You know, you could also put little holes down here and put a little succulent, a little plant in there. That'd be fun. All right, let's move those over. Project number 2, another really easy one, is the stress tin. So this is fake flowers that I put in there just for show. So there it is. This is something I spray painted. Spray paint works quite a bit better with this one than painting on acrylic paint. But if you don't have spray paint, acrylic paint will work. So this one, it's supposed to be shabby chic. And involves getting yourself a, let's do this one, tin can, cleaned, of course, and a hammer, and then you go to town. So you can't, let's see if you can see me hammering this. Alrighty. And you don't want to do too much, kind of in the middle. Make it look kind of cool. Don't hammer your finger. Don't do that. Coronavirus. My dog's wondering what's happening. Okay. A little bit more there. So, there it is. Your hammered tin. And then you would take this outside and put something down on your grass or in concrete and spray paint it and let it dry, and you have this. It's a strange project. Pinterest is full of strange projects, but if this is your thing, there you go. Very easy. And don't you feel better? Put back the flake flowers. Okay. Put the hammer away. Our next project is going to be the bird feeder. And the bird feeder, excuse me, I actually did paint. And it turned out, I think, looking really well. But what you want to do before you paint on the tin is, let's use this one. You need some sandpaper, and this is just general purpose sandpaper. It's not real heavy duty. But you'll want to sand the tin can all over, and that makes it accept paint a lot better. Now, I've got some of the gummy glue stuff on here that I didn't take off because I'm lazy. But if you want to take it off, I've heard Goo Gone, of course. Somebody else said WD-40. I've also heard you could just do warm water and vinegar and soak it a little bit, and then it should come off. Like I said, I left it because I'm lazy, and you really can't tell unless you're nose to nose with it. But if you're more thorough than I, go for it. Get the top here. All right, and then you kind of rub this stuff off. And then choose your color. I obviously did blue. The darker color, I think there was probably 3 coats of this blue. Doing a lighter color, maybe a white or a yellow, would take probably more coats than that to get it covered. Yeah, have at it, and we'll paint our can, and then we'll come back to see the next step. Okay, I'm back. So I've been just using the acrylic paint for this one. It definitely could use more coats of paint. This is probably 3 coats. And I was getting antsy. It wasn't drying fast enough, so I actually used the hairdryer trick, which I had never done before. You just plug in your hairdryer and dry it that way, and it works really well. So when you make yours, you might need 4 or 5 coats of paint to make it look really good. And again, depending on the color of your paint, take more or less. And then I painted little dots on mine. You know, I was thinking putting lines on this one or whatever you want to do. So since this will probably, as it is a bird feeder, it'll be outside, you want to coat it, protect it. So I did have this acrylic matte coating that I had stashed away, so I used that. If you don't have this, you can use Mod Podge. And if you don't have Mod Podge, basically Mod Podge is glue and water mixed together, and that will create hopefully a protective coat to save it from the elements. So the next thing we need to do with this is you take your, got to get a little perch for the bird. So take a clothespin and dismantle the clothespin. Don't pinch yourself. What I did, I would put glue in that little crevice, and then glue on the bottom here, and then it would fit like that and lean back. That's my dog at the door. So I'm gonna go over here to my glue station and get this glued up and let the dog in. Okay, so there's glue on that puppy. There we are. And there's the little perch for the bird. Ta-da! Now, you'll need some twine or yarn. Twine would probably be better. It's going to be outside. I'm actually going to use some of this colorful yarn that I have, which might not be the best, but that's what I got. It's a big ball of chaos. And this also, you want to put some glue. We're in the center here, some hot glue. So this will stay in place, and you'll likely want to do it like this. Darn. something like that. And then, so I'll put the glue there, and then I'll wrap it around. And you kind of want your guys to come together, your yarn to come together at the top. Oops, that's wrong. So you want it, the top of your hanging thing to be over that, so it hangs properly. So now I'm gonna tie a knot and try that, make that knot above that, which doesn't look like it's working. And then something sort of like that. That looks kind of terrible, but once you put the seeds in there, it should be good. My first one was much better, but that's basically it. Wonderful. Okay, moving on. The last craft is the little bee. Isn't he cute? So, the things you'll need for him are, again, your tin can with one end in place, pop bottle caps for his little, these things here. I had googly eyes, so you can use those if you have those. If you don't, I would suggest instead of painting these black, paint them white, and then put a little, like a black button, a tiny black button, or a black dot in there to represent an eye. If you want to make it black and then have the white outline of the eye and then the black pupil, you can do that if you're really creative. You'll also want a pop top from a can, and that will make the hanger. And what I did with that is I used a pair of little needle nose pliers, and you take the part here that connects to the can and twist it. It sounds like it broke, but it didn't. And that creates a little hanger that you can glue on top of the bee. For the legs and for the wings, so these, if you have a plastic water bottle, you can use one of those. Just cut it so it looks like a pair of wings. This, when you go to Freddy's or Carl's Jr. or Five Guys and you get a shake, they have the cup, and then on top of that there's like this little plastic dome, and I just cut that in half, and that's what I use for my wings. I dug this out of recycling. This is like a Noosa yogurt. That could even work if you can kind of cut out this bottom part and then cut it in half. Try and make wings like that. One thing you could also do, which seems like it might be a little more difficult and it might Might be kind of harmful. It might hurt you. But to use the top of the can, we have a special kind of can opener that makes a really nice smooth edge. It's not pointy. If you have one that doesn't do that, you'll want to sand it. You know, and you could take the pliers again and sort of try and make a lip. Like that. And then you'd want to paint it white. And then that could be one of your wings. So that's an option. That actually would look kind of cool. And then for the little legs, I just had some wire and just hot glued it there onto the little wire. So I gotta say, spray paint is a lot easier and quicker drying than painting this using the acrylic paint. So I mean, I happen to have yellow spray paint. I don't know why I had yellow spray paint. I just got really lucky. So this guy was spray painted, but then I painted the black lines with just regular acrylic paint. So right now I'm going to take, oh, and I pre-sanded this already. I'm going to take this outside and spray paint it with this yellow spray paint. And then I'm going to come in and paint the black rings around him. And I think this time I'm going to paint the little eye socket things white. So I'm going to get that completed and we'll come back and see what it looks like. All right, so I took this outside and gave it a nice spray coat of yellow. And I actually thought I'd try the idea with the tin can tops to make the wings. So I sprayed in those white. And then the little bottle caps, I also sprayed white. So now we paint the stripes on this, the body of the bee. The body of the bee. This is very satisfying. Sort of paint these lines here. Not sure why, but it is. Again, it doesn't really need to be perfect, but if you have lines on your can, those little ridges, helps you sort of stay making a straight line instead of a wobbly line. And I did not do a good job staying in the lines here. Big surprise. Shoot. Okay, so there's a line, and then I'll make two more, and then I'll be ready to put the wings on, and the eyes, etc. I'm going to paint some more lines. Okay, so I've done 3 lines on my bee, and just a cautionary word. If you're putting your hand in here and turning it as you paint, be careful with these sharp edges. They'll cut you. You don't want that. It hurt. So, oh dear. Okay. It wasn't fully dry. Now, here, we'll put on the little eyes. And you want to glue those on. And if you want to paint a little pupil in there, you could also use little black buttons if you have little black buttons, googly eyes, anything you kind of want to paint black. But I'm going to see what a little black paint looks like. At the moment, it doesn't look great. But people get the idea. So you may be a much better painter than me. Wouldn't be difficult. My little bee's kind of cross-eyed, like me. Okay, there. I'm going to go over to my station, my glue station. Get these eyes on here. My bee looks a little drunk. You can make a little smile if you want. There, he looks confused. We'll do that. Now you will want to get your your bottle cap, your pop top, I guess, and put that on the top in the center and glue that. Right above there. Okay. And then I'm thinking, you know, put those on the edge. Go see how it looks. I kind of like him like that. I think that's cute. I like those. So yeah, I like that better than the plastic guy. Whatever you want to do. Then for the feet, you can use wire. You could also use another pop can top. Or he doesn't have to have feet. He can just fly around. And you'd want to add string or twine, and then you'd be able to hang him. There he is. So we've gone through all of our projects. So here's Mr. B. You can make him as cute or as crazy as you want. Here's the one I made yesterday, which I believe is much better looking. Then we have the bird feeders that we made. And again, I did much better yesterday, but there they are. And then, look at that. That was our yarn can, and I put a fake little succulent in there. I love the way that looks. I think that looks really good. And that's the easiest one to do. And then we did our anger management, distressed, shabby chic vase, which is a lot of fun. So hopefully you enjoyed this ThriftU and you learned something and you are able to be creative. We have our next meeting, our next program on May 13th. And I, at this time, don't know if that's going to be able to be happening. I have a feeling it might not. So we might be doing another one of these. I'm sorry if it was terrible for you. But we'll see how it goes. And in the meantime, take care. Take care of yourself and wash your hands and be well. Take care. Bye-bye.